Level 1, the local nuisance. You've worked the late shift at Dale's Gas and Go for 2 years, long enough to know the register code by heart. Your hours get cut to 30 a week the same month your rent goes up $60. You start doing the math on your break most nights, and the math never works out in your favor. On a Tuesday close, you wait until the office light blinks off for the night before you move. You still have your own set of keys, the ones nobody ever bothered to take back. You let yourself in at 2 in the morning and go straight for the register, not the safe. You don't know the safe's combination yet, and tonight isn't the night to learn it. Your hands shake on the drawer latch longer than you'd like to admit, even alone in an empty store. $640, mostly in 10s and 20s, fits easily into a gym bag. You wipe down the counter on your way out, more out of habit than any real plan. You're back in your own bed by 2:40, half convinced already that it didn't happen. Your manager finds the drawer short the next morning and calls the sheriff before he calls you. A blurry photocopy of your work badge photo is taped inside the gas station window by that afternoon. The description underneath gets your height wrong by 2 inches and misspells your last name. The sheriff's office assigns it to one deputy, part-time, between other calls. Your old boss posts a $200 reward out of his own pocket taped under the flyer. No fingerprints get pulled. No camera footage gets reviewed. It's a stapled flyer and a rumor. You still sleep in your own bed that week? Nobody's looking that hard yet. You spend the $640 in under 10 days and go looking for the next number. You start scouting a bigger target before the flyer's even been replaced by a fresh one. Level 2, State's Most Wanted. You've watched the pawn shop 2 towns over for a week. Same lights off at 11, same empty parking lot by midnight. You learn the shop buys stolen goods without asking questions, which means it never bothers with real security either. You go in through a side window you loosened 3 nights earlier during a fake browsing trip. The safe behind the counter is older than you are, and it gives after 20 patient minutes of work, ear pressed to the dial. You walk out with jewelry and cash worth just over $12,000, more money than you've ever held at once. A patrol car happens to roll down the street as you're closing the back door, and you freeze against the wall until it passes. You fence half the jewelry 3 counties away, careful never to sell in the same town twice. You keep the rest wrapped in a gym sock at the bottom of a duffel bag, moving it between motel rooms. Once your name crosses into the next county's paperwork, the case gets kicked up to the state. You start going by a nickname you never used before, one nobody back home ever called you. The State Bureau of Investigation opens an actual case file with your real name in it. A statewide teletype bulletin goes out to every precinct with your photo and description. A detective gets assigned to your case full-time for the first time, not part-time, not shared. A Crime Stoppers tip line goes up with a $1,000 reward for information leading to your arrest. Your photo runs for 11 seconds on the local 11 o'clock news, then again the next night. You watch it from a motel bed in a town you've never told anyone you were in. You start paying cash only and stop using your real name to check into anywhere. You've already started asking around about bigger jobs than a pawn shop safe. Level 3 on the run. You learn an armored transport truck runs the same rural highway every Tuesday at exactly the same hour. You and a man you met through a fence agree to split whatever the truck is carrying that week. You spend 3 days scouting the exact stretch of road with no houses, no cameras, no witnesses. You force it to the shoulder using a stalled car blocking the lane ahead, hazards blinking. Both guards go face down in the gravel at gunpoint while you pull the cash boxes from the rear. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody even reaches for a radio in time. You crack one box open right there on the shoulder just to see how much you actually got. You're across the state line within the hour, the emptied car sinking slowly into a river bend off the highway. The U.S. Marshal Service takes over. Fugitive hunting is their actual full-time job, not a side case anymore. Your file gets flagged in the National Crime Information Center, visible to every officer in the country now. A judge authorizes a wiretap on your mother's phone and your cousin's just in case you call. Marshals start working backward through every fence and pawn shop that's ever touched your name. The reward climbs into 5 figures, posted jointly by the state and your original county. A regional news segment airs your photo across 3 states in one night. You split the take with your partner in a motel parking lot and never see him again on purpose. You start hearing your own case number mentioned on a police scanner you bought just to listen. You buy a second fake ID from a man you were told never asks questions and pay double for the silence. Level 4, National Radar. You pick a bank this time because a bank means real money. And you know exactly what that means legally now. You've watched the branch's opening routine for 2 weeks. Same manager first through the door at 8:50 sharp. You memorize the guard's coffee break down to the minute, the one gap in the whole morning. A note across the counter gets you both teller drawers and the unlocked portion of the vault before anyone reaches an alarm. A teller's hand shakes so badly filling the bag that you have to finish it yourself. You're out through the service alley you scouted a week earlier, into a car with plates that aren't yours. The moment you cross a state line afterward, it becomes a federal crime on its own, on top of everything else. The FBI opens a file under something called a UFAP warrant, unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Behavioral analysts at the Bureau build a profile of you from the note, the routine, and the timing alone. Financial investigators quietly track every wire transfer your mother has sent or received in 2 years. Agents interview your old manager at the gas station, still asking about a robbery 2 levels behind you now. The reward reaches 6 figures. A national crime segment airs your photo to millions in one broadcast. You watch that broadcast from a shared bunkhouse with 4 other men who never ask your real name. You start memorizing 3 different routes out of every town before you even unpack a bag. You start planning something bigger than a single branch, bigger than you've ever attempted. Level 5. The country's Darf-1 most wanted. You've timed an armored convoy's route for a month, the one that moves cash between regional Federal Reserve banks. You know the exact 3-minute gap in radio contact between checkpoints, the same one every single run. You recruit 2 men through channels 3 layers removed from your own name, and tell each of them only half the plan. You force the lead vehicle to stop on an overpass using a disabled truck you towed into place before dawn. You're in and out in under 4 minutes, walking away with more than every other job combined. No one is caught in the act. No plate, no face, nothing but a description that could fit 1,000 men. You split the money into 3 separate storage units, none of them under any name you've ever used. Your face becomes one of the most recognized in the country, which makes hiding it harder, not easier. The FBI places you on its 10 most wanted fugitives list. An actual, real list, 10 names, nothing more. Your poster goes up in post offices in every state, the same way it has for that list since 1950. The reward reaches its highest tier yet. Funded jointly by federal and state agencies, an Interpol red notice goes out in case you've already left the country. A joint task force spanning 3 agencies coordinates tips, sightings, and dead ends full-time now. Agents build a full timeline connecting the gas station, the pawn shop, the armored truck, and the bank to one name. You haven't spoken to anyone from your old life in over a year, on purpose. You see your own face on a television in a bus station waiting room. A clean, sharp photo this time, nothing like the blurry one from the gas station window. For a second, you barely recognize yourself in it. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially at the final level. Subscribe for the next journey, leave your ideas in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.